This has been an absolutely crazy week with the U.S. soccer stuff going on in the FIFA World Cup. So I'm here to catch you up on a couple of the big items that you might have missed with all of the madness. And we're also going to get into that madness as well, because there are certain things that I have noticed about this FIFA World Cup that hopefully have planted some seeds that will change the world. We'll get into that in a second. But first, if you glanced, as I did, in the financial pages this week, you saw, once again, a classic high-stakes game of tug-of-war. Our friends over at the Federal Reserve concluded for its fourth meeting this year, holding interest rates steady in the mid-3%. But the devil, as always, was in the details. This newly issued dot plot caught Wall Street completely off guard, revealing a hawkish shift, with half of the voting members now eyeing potential rate hikes before the year is out. Treasury yields have surged, and a weary stock market gave back its early gains. And we'll look at those charts here in a second. And then there was the geopolitical arena I'm sure you're following. Early in the week, investors breathed a sigh of relief as United States and Iran signed the Interim Memorandum of Understanding, which is basically just a document saying, hey, we're going to sit down and talk about things and come up with a solution. So it opened a 60-day window to negotiate over nuclear programs and get the oil flowing again through the vital Strait of Hormuz. But Friday morning, scheduled technical talks in a quiet Swiss mountaintop resort were abruptly postponed as localized conflicts flared on the ground, thanks to the bombing in Lebanon by the Israelis. The markets, as they always do, wavered on the news. We'll keep tracking those numbers, but today the real story isn't happening on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. It's this. I know it's a soccer game, or football as they say overseas, but it's changing big things globally. Across North America, the economic avalanche of this FIFA World Cup is officially underway. Upwards of 6 million international tourists have started the process of descending upon our host cities. The sheer financial impact, the billions being poured into our hospitality, transit, and local businesses will ripple through the corporate earnings for months to come. Just yesterday, a packed stadium in Seattle, as you see this picture right here, the U.S. men's national team took the pitch and secured a hard-fought win, a 2-0 victory over Australia. It was a proud moment for American sports fans. It's a proud moment for me. But if you look closely at the crowd spilling out in the streets after the final whistle, you'll realize the real win wasn't recorded on a scoreboard. For decades, we've been told that a modern nation only finds its collective identity during a tragedy. We've been conditioned to believe that it takes a trauma-bonding event, a dark, catastrophic day like September 11th, to break down our differences and force us to stand shoulder to shoulder. But this week, on the sunlit streets of our great cities, millions of Americans are proving that narrative wrong. They're demonstrating that a free people do not need a tragedy to unite them. They can come together in celebration, in joy, and in peace. The stands are a sea of red, white, and blue filled with neighbors who may disagree on politics, but who are fundamentally united by a shared appreciation of this land. And something else is happening out there, right under the noses of the commentators. Thousands of those international tourists arrived on our shores with bags packed full of preconceptions. For years, global media headlines, and regrettably, much of our own domestic press, have painted a picture of this country, America, torn apart at the seams and a place of constant hostility and division. But a funny thing happens when you step off an airplane and actually look around. Visiting fans from every corner of the globe are walking to our neighborhoods, eating at our diners, and striking up conversations with ordinary citizens. And they are waking up to a reality that cannot be hidden by a camera angle or a sensational headline. They're discovering that as a whole, the American people are loving, gentle, and deeply peaceful as a nation. They're seeing a country whose strangers still smile on the sidewalk, where families are working hard to build a better tomorrow, and where the foundational love of freedom is not a historical artifact, but a living, breathing reality that is still fiercely cherished. The scoreboard tells you who won the game, but the streets are beginning to tell you who we are. An amazing nation, still striving, yet still united, not by fear, but by hope, which is a very interesting thing, a theme that I'm hoping will spread like wildfire as these people from all around this beautiful world go back to their homes. Do they see what's possible if people come together and demand freedom for themselves and change their own lands? What a beautiful thing that's unfolding on our shores. So now we'll get to the markets. As you might have noted earlier, yes, the Fed rates have caused a bit of stir on the markets, as well as Israel bombing Lebanon after we have come to a order of peace, disturbing everything, because that's one of the things that Iran wants, is for the bombing in Lebanon to stop. All right, Dow Jones 51,564, up 72 points or 0.14. The all-time high was just a couple of days ago, 4 days ago. That's the 16th, and you can kind of see what's going on here with that. S&P, a little bit different story. We have 7,500 points, up 80 points or 1.8%, which is a nice drawback to reality, but it's been a little bit longer. The beginning of the month was the all-time high, but we're not too far from it. NASDAQ Composite has a little bit of the same movement. 26,517. We're up almost 500 points, 496, or almost 2%, which is fantastic. But as you notice, big dip happened here. So it's just getting its claws back in. And once again, the second of this month was the all-time high. So now that we know that, let's get to the silver and gold. What did the metals do this crazy week? Well, let's find out. Silver ends the week once again at a fairly low point given recent trends. It's $65.58, down almost $5 this week. That's 7% down. Pretty crazy stuff there. And yes, that does mean year to date, it's down at 9.27%, which is great for you buyers like me. Gold, on the other hand, is a little bit different. We're down still. It's $4,171 an ounce, and that is 3% down on the week, and year to date puts it down 3.75%. So it definitely did better than silver did, but it still took a bit of a tumble, and the dollar seems to be holding neutral on the global stage. So all of that being said, that's kind of where we are. If you would like to help our efforts on this channel, please consider liking and subscribing, maybe even putting a comment down below to get that algorithm to like us a little bit more. If you would like to be a channel member, that's a great way to help us out here on the culture of currency. And if you're looking to buy silver, gold, platinum, palladium, copper, any of the kind of metals that you normally would, and you don't want to spend any extra money doing it, you can use my APMEX link, and they will actually help this channel by paying me for referring you. So that's what we have for today. Thank you as always for staying classy and current with the culture of currency.